2026's reimagining of the classic Steins Gate experience is just around the corner, in the form of Steins Gate Reboot, a remake of the original game boasting new graphics, story content, and more. We covered the game itself in our review just a few days ago, but for many, one question remains unanswered. What about the Digital Deluxe Edition? Fans who spring for the deluxe package have been promised a visual collection book, the game's soundtrack in full, and an English-subtitled video of 2024's Steins Gate One World concert, where, fittingly, Reboot was first revealed to the public. But potential buyers may also hesitate over the deluxe edition's price tag. At $20 more than the already fairly expensive $60 base game, we wouldn't blame fans for questioning if this bonus content is truly worth the investment. If you're wondering whether the Digital Deluxe Edition is for you, you've come to the right place. Watch on for our thoughts on this expansion, and don't forget to leave a comment below about your own thoughts. Spike Chunsoft was kind enough to provide us with pre-release copies of the Digital Deluxe content for review purposes. However, this does not influence the opinions expressed in this review in any way. Please also note that this review was written primarily from our experience with the Steam version of the content, and it may not reflect the console experience. Let's start with the visual collection book. Going into it, I was cautiously optimistic about what Steins Gate Reboot's visual collection might have to offer players. The two recent Mage's releases I played with similar deluxe content, Anonymous Code and Memories of So-So, had me reasonably hopeful about what we would see done for Mage's most popular franchise. My optimism, unfortunately, was misplaced. Reboot's visual collection, served as a PDF file on Steam, is an extremely simplistic collection of background art and CGs from the game that offers little in the way of commentary. The most you can expect is a title for each CG. It is nice to see full versions of some CGs that are presented in a 16:9 aspect ratio in the game, but ultimately I can't say that this collection is much more useful than the game's already existing CG viewing menu. The visual collection being a PDF file isn't a problem in itself. Memories of So-So's material book, also a digital deluxe bonus, is similarly offered as a PDF, but it's conversely packed with character art and details, CGs and CG sketches, background art and some associated commentary, staff interviews, and in the Fandisc's case, special comments submitted by series fans. That level of detail feels worthy of the extra dollars, while Reboot's paltry offerings feel especially cheap by contrast. But what's particularly damning here is that the previous science adventure entry, Anonymous Code, featured a truly comprehensive guidebook of its own. As I discussed in my 2023 review, A Beginner's Guide to Earth Simulator is an interactive, playable guidebook written from an in-universe perspective. It simultaneously provides the sort of premium, behind-the-scenes content Memories of So-So's book provided, and it offers critical, exclusive series lore, the sort that makes it as important to read as any science adventure visual novel. But Reboot's visual collection contains close to none of this, leaving me with a bit of a sour taste in my mouth. Seeing how much more content Memories of So-So and Anonymous Code's respective bonus books offer at the same, or even cheaper asking prices sets a poor introductory tone for Reboot's Digital Deluxe package as a whole. It's hard to find anything deluxe about it. Let's go ahead and move on to the soundtrack. Takeshi Abo's refreshed soundtrack for Steins Gate Reboot is, as my colleagues mentioned in our review of the game proper, sheer excellence. It strikes the right balance of familiar patterns and renewed additions, leaving players with a bevy of new favorites to loop endlessly after 17 years of indulging in the classics. The soundtrack, included with the Digital Deluxe Edition, nets you 35 tracks from the game, including the ringtones in case you want to load them on your phone for when you cosplay as Ho and Kyoma. No judgment here. What I find a bit iffy about the implementation this time around is that all the tracks are seemingly provided in MP3 format in 192 kbps bitrate. Previous releases, like, again, Anonymous Code, offered MP3 files in the premium 320 kbps, as well as uncompressed FLAC files as alternatives. This meant there was no compromise on quality. While the downgrade in quality should make no difference for the standard listener, those with a discerning ear will be rather disappointed in this quality dip, and they may want to steer away from spending their extra money. Last but not least, let's cover Steins Gate 15th Live, One World. The biggest draw of the Digital Deluxe Edition is the 2.5-hour long video recording of 2024's One World concert, now subtitled in English for the first time ever. And credit where it's due, One World was an incredible show. It featured a brand new lab mem story themed around change and continuity, voiced by the cast's voice actors, as well as an incredible concert with standout vocals and performances from series' favorite vocalists, and last but not least, an enlightening talk show with the voice actors. I'm a huge fan of this event and its ability to stir up a fan's emotions, and I really think Mages knocked it out of the park organizing it. This video isn't exactly worth the entire $20 price of admission, but it's pretty darn good nonetheless. The subtitles do unfortunately fall somewhat short of a truly deluxe experience. There aren't too many issues with the English translation itself, to be clear, but what the subtitles don't cover, like Japanese song lyrics, Moeka's emails during the roundtable visual novel segment, and some other miscellanea, it's all sorely missed. The biggest loss here is the song lyrics, which comprise a huge portion of the show and, as we've learned over the years, have great significance to the science adventure series. All this leaves the English subtitles feeling like a bog-standard job that, likely at no fault of the translators, doesn't seek to convey more than what's absolutely necessary for the English language audience. An effort was certainly made to ensure that this concert would be accessible to overseas fans, and to be sure that effort is appreciated, but you're still not going to get as deeply immersive an experience as a Japanese speaker would. For the premium price, I would have certainly hoped Mages would take greater pains to bridge the gap for overseas fans. Given the lack of better options, however, I would still give One World a cautiously positive recommendation. Kiri Basara's final score for the Digital Deluxe Edition is a 6 out of 10. It's a relatively underwhelming addition to the reboot experience, with its paltry visual collection book and limited soundtrack options, which are stark contrasts to what has been offered in past Mages Deluxe editions. On the other hand, the strength of the soundtrack itself, as well as the stellar, if limited in English, concert video, even out the issues to some extent. Ultimately, I would recommend this package to superfans of the series. Less committed players, meanwhile, may instead want to wait for a discount. I'd like to close out with another special thanks to Spike Chunsoft for providing Kiri Basara with advanced copies of the Digital Deluxe contents for review purposes. Steins Gate Reboot and its Digital Deluxe Edition launch on August 20th, 2026 for PC via Steam, and on October 29th, 2026 for Nintendo Switch consoles, Xbox Series consoles, and PlayStation 5. Visit the official website for more details. And that's it for today's video, Boss Riders. We'll see you next time.